GTN produces the low-budget Snyder cuts.
Hi, Batman. And something went horribly wrong. Return of the Bat Nipple.
He looks like he's going to be their charger.
Hi, Batman.
Let's figure out if he makes it through.
Jazz hands. We might have missed a good opportunity here. Are live. Hello, Facebook.
Hello, hello.
If you look at our fancy logo, you'll notice the addition of a fourth face on there.
It's Ashley.
It's Ashley. It's Amber. Alexandria. All of these things. All of these names.
All of these and more.
Yes, it's Hannah. How is everybody?
Good.
Let's get ready to go here. We
have a bunch to talk about.
We have a
today.
lot to talk about today. Like, so much that we even, I guess you should be able to see our faces, huh? There we are. Hey, look at that. We're here.
Hey, hey.
So we are here. We've got some new mics we're playing with, which is going to be good so far. So good. We've got a lot to talk about, so much that we pushed about a third of the agenda into next week. So we've got a lot to go through. We've got some DC, some a little bit of Marvel, just another story that makes me want to hang out with Keanu Reeves. Some Kevin Smith stuff, some Game of Thrones stuff as we rapidly approach the end of Game of Thrones. A little bit of gaming as well, and a follow-up to some stories from early on. So it's been a while since we've had some DC news to talk about, so let's just dive right into DC. Sorry, this is episode 120. I'm Cav, that's Nick.
What's up, guys?
Church.
Hey, guys.
Hannah.
Hello.
All right, here we go. DC. So Zack Snyder's been talking about his original plans for Justice League. It is a very convoluted, time travel involving. It sounds like Endgame a little bit in terms of what would happen. It sounds pretty cool. He was at a Q&A and kind of addressed what he had originally thought about, and some things some important things. The original version of the Justice League, the one thing he was talking about, the thing that he originally wrote with Chris Terrio, they never shot that.
Okay.
That does not exist.
So the Snyder Cut is not a thing.
Snyder Cut is not a thing. So they said when they had finished the script to Justice League before Batman v Superman came out, and so they changed some stuff based on the reaction to Batman v Superman.
Okay.
And then he kind of went into some other things. There's the nightmare sequence.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that.
Yeah.
when you're done. Go ahead.
Talking about the nightmare sequence where Darkseid had basically taken over the Earth, and there's only a few members of the Justice League left that were fighting. What is your question about Nightmare?
Why does he have goggles? He's Batman. Doesn't he have like a cowl that like has goggles built in?
Well, I think
That was a different suit.
that is a different suit. But also, like, this is kind of in this instance, like, he's carrying guns and stuff like that because he doesn't have his technology. Like,
Okay.
in this scenario, it's not which one is that? Batman and Robin. He doesn't have or Batman Forever. He doesn't
I don't
have the
know.
goggles.
A dystopian Batman.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so they were going to talk about that in his original thing. Superman had basically had gone bad, like that was part of it. In that basically it was having to do with and you see a little bit of this in Justice League. Basically, they were going to kill Lois Lane.
Okay.
And that's what set Superman off. And so that's why Flash went back in time to the Batcave with Bruce Wayne and talking about that. Lois is the key, she's the key, that type of thing. That's where that came from. But apparently there's also, like, at this point, Cyborg was basically just like a portion of himself. So I'm assuming, they just called him, quote, a broken cyborg.
Interesting.
Yep. So there's that. And like I said, the death of Lois Lane, time travel to the Batcave. Steppenwolf was never intended to show up in Justice League.
Yeah,
Like
that confused me. I
Yeah,
wasn't expecting that.
yeah, because in Batman v Superman, the section where you see Steppenwolf for the first time is cut out in the theatrical release. You see it in the extended release, but it's not in the theatrical release. So, and Steppenwolf is one of those enemies or villains or whatever that you're like even your casual people certainly aren't going to know who it is, and even then, even some of the more hardcores are really like Steppenwolf. That's where you go.
I always just think of the band.
Nice.
That's actually what was in my head too.
Yep. So
In church.
yeah, he said basically there's no form of this movie where the Snyder Cut exists. Although somebody talked about, maybe if he decides to release his screenplay, like the original screenplay, or if even DC does it in some sort of graphic novel form, would be kind of cool.
Graphic novel form would be cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that could work.
So
We could shoot it.
what's that?
We could shoot it.
Yeah,
Make it a GTN production.
Very low budget.
very like $7.
Like,
GTN
as in,
produces
like,
the low budget
The toys
Snyder
are
cuts.
the actors.
Yes, we'll get toys and do like this.
You still see our hands as we move the toys.
I
Yep.
mean,
Well, yeah, we don't have the budget to CG those out.
We might not even have the budget to buy the toys.
So they
we
also
can make cardboard cutouts.
Oh, perfect.
Every
That's
line
true.
that Batman says is just, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. So we just have to record it one time and just loop it.
Yep.
They talked about Justice League 2 would have had a dark ending along the lines of Empire Strikes Back, where the team would have been defeated in space before Darkseid arrived and basically levels the Earth. That would have been the end of Justice League 2. And then Justice League 3 would have done basically in a one final stand, against Darkseid, that type of thing. So Kevin Smith is on the record of saying basically that having talked to Snyder and done some stuff, he's like, we might have missed a good opportunity here for something a little crazy. I'm picking up somebody's phone, I think, maybe a little. I don't know, maybe mine. Hang on, I'll pop. No.
Hi, Aunt Nancy.
Hello, Aunt Nancy.
Was it that little buzz?
Yes, is that you?
No, it wasn't me, but I
Yeah.
heard it too. I was wondering.
There's a tiny little buzz.
Although I don't hear it now.
I don't either.
Maybe it was my phone.
I didn't
just
hear it at
threw
all.
on the ground.
Yep. So, all
I
right,
didn't
cool.
hear it either.
Going up next in DC. So, yeah, we might have missed something there, but going another Batman movie news, we have our first exclusive scoop on Batman Hush, the animated version. Jason O'Mara is going to be Batman, something he's done before, although this is much to the disappointment of many fans because Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy have been on record of saying they would love to do Batman Hush. So
I think that'd be cool.
Yep. Jennifer Morrison is Selena Kyle. Jerry O'Connell is Batman. Rebecca Romijn is Lois Lane. Rainn Wilson is Lex Luthor. Sean Mayer is Nightwing. Bruce Thomas is Jim Gordon. Stuart Allen as Damian Wayne, and James Garrett as Alfred. So there's a lot of cool things happening with Hush, but unfortunately it's not the voice actors
Not
that we
Jason
want.
Momoa.
Not Jason Momoa. We did, speaking of staying on the Batman train,
Wow.
we did get a new.
Quinn Mallory is Superman.
Yes.
Has he ever done stuff before? Has he
Yeah.
done?
He's been in
DC work?
Yeah, he's done DC work before.
Awesome.
I think he's done Superman before. So,
Sorry.
no, you're
Go
good. No, you're good. We got a poster for the final 2 episodes of Gotham.
Isn't that cool?
Looks
Yes.
familiar. So, to me, that looks like the Batman Begins suit.
Yeah, it does.
The back of it has a very Batman Begins look. There will be a 10-year time jump, I guess, either in the
That's what I
final
was gonna
episode
ask.
or the final 2 episodes. Basically, it will be somebody else's body, but David Mazouz, his face and voice.
Well, let's hope he doesn't have a mustache because we know how bad that is.
So,
Wouldn't his voice have changed in 10 years?
well, if it's a Batman voice, it won't matter. Like,
That's true, yeah.
in terms of, I mean, right at this point, he's like 18. And so if he's Batman,
Yeah.
like,
That's true.
I'm one of the things I'm most curious about is like, what is his Batman voice going to be like? Like, it's got to be, are they going to will they do the voice changer a la Ben Affleck, or will they give him will they give him a voice? Because his voice, even now, like when he's angry Bruce, it makes me chuckle.
That's why I was thinking, like,
So,
see his voice as it.
yeah.
So you guys think this is going to take it right up to Batman Begins?
Not right up to, well, it will be,
Be
this
like
is a 10-year
first-
time jump. This
First
is,
year?
yeah, sort of. First
So
year
it'd
in
have
the
to be
cowl.
past.
Past Batman Begins.
Yeah, and Batman began
Yeah.
a while back.
Batman began, this is probably first
This
year.
is Batman still going.
Batman's still beginning.
I don't know if we're gonna get the story of how he ended up in the bat suit. Like, I'm a few episodes behind. Oh, great! I just got a message from Best Buy, and it literally says, "Is this microphone emoji on?" I'm like, is it? I don't know. Like, what? The little
Hi,
odd.
Brian.
So we've got that coming along. So yeah, whether we're gonna get his version of why he's dressing up like a bat, what the rest of the suit is gonna look like, that's going to be. They're talking about the original plan was we will see Batman in the last episode. So I guess we won't see the second to last episode until April 18th. Series finale April 25th. So a new actor will don the bat suit, but that Bruce Wayne said and so we've got some, because right now they're dealing with some Bane and Nissa Al Ghul things. So they've brought everybody in, all the people, but I'll be very curious to see, what that looks like on the front side too. So, hey Mitch, what's going on, man? How are you? So,
Mitch, we need you back on here, man.
yeah, at some point we'll have to do a group recording again. Although editing a group recording is about the most horrific thing I've ever done. So yeah, we've got that happening, which is exciting. Speaking of Batman again, all the original Batman movies are coming back to the theater. Fathom Events is bringing them back. And it's not so
Even
Fathom,
Clooney?
all of them, all four of them. So last time they did this, it was just 89 Batman. Yeah, they just did that.
Because you went to watch it, right?
I went and watched it, yeah. And but now they're taking, because it's Batman's 80th anniversary, and so Fathom Events Saturday, May 4th is going to be Batman. Monday, May 6th is going to be Batman Returns. Saturday, May 12th, Batman Forever. Tuesday, May 14th, Batman and Robin. So that's going to be exciting. I'm going to have to, not going to lie. Like, I've done the 89 Batman one before. I haven't seen Batman Returns in the theater since it came out in the theater. And then, I mean, it's Batman
It
Forever.
might be worth like trying to get a ticket to all those and go.
Yeah, just go and see. They need a bat pass. They need a bat pass. You can go to all of them. So yeah, that's going to.
Well, I
be...
like that. They're reasonable on times too.
Yeah, they
Like
are.
during the week, it's 4 and 7. After weekends, it's 1 and 4.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, like, this has got to be the last opportunity you will ever have to see Batman Forever or Batman and Robin in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I can't imagine.
Potentially even the original too.
Yeah, I mean, especially Batman Returns. The
Yeah.
original Batman pops up every few years just because of what it is, but Batman Returns was a little darker.
Mm-hmm.
And so we, like I said,
One of my favorites.
I don't know that it's been in the theaters. Dalton says, "Return of the Bat Nipple." That's true.
Batman Returns is with Penguin, right?
Yes.
Yep, and Catwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, I liked it, except for when he eats the fish.
Yeah, that was a little gross, but
Like, as a kid, I was like, mm-mm.
You're like, no, I can't.
That creeped me
gross.
out.
I loved it.
I can't.
But I
handle
like
this.
everything else. I just remember that one part.
I think I went and watched Batman Returns in the theater. Actually,
I have a.
I think I did.
Alana says, "Does the Bat Pass come with a collectible tool belt?" It should.
Should. And the pass should be in the shape of the Batman logo.
It's true.
There you go.
It's either that or the because it's Batman and Robin, the Batman credit card that he whips out basically when he's bidding on Poison Ivy, and he has basically like a Bat credit card. Like, that's what it should look like. This is a missed
card.
opportunity, DC.
I'm surprised they're not doing it.
Yeah.
Watch, we're gonna get closer to this, and that's gonna be
That's
announced.
gonna
Yeah.
happen, and it's
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
It's gonna be
Thank you.
Echo.
I saw this. I was reading. I don't remember which run of the Batman comics it was. I think it. I was gonna say I thought it was leading up to Death in the Family, but I don't think so. I think it was past that, where yeah, it would have been past that. Bruce is meeting up with all of his Robins. And I think he's basically telling them, like, you need to leave and I'll take care of this by myself because I'm Batman. But
That's
you know,
every couple of
the
years.
usual thing.
Yeah.
But he meets up in this fast food restaurant that is a Batman themed restaurant. Like it would be like a McDonald's, but Batman themed.
Bat Donald's.
And it had like Joker stuff and like all of these things. Like the ketchup was like Joker, like green or purple or stuff. And then like the Robins were arguing because they got kids meals and they didn't like their toys because one of them got Jason Todd and he was like, I don't want that one. Anyways, all I'd say, I was like, man, they need to really do that.
A bat restaurant. It wouldn't surprise me, like a pop-up restaurant, something like that, like at San Diego or New York Comic Con, something like that, like a pop-up thing. That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
I want to see the Jason Todd one.
Like
Does
they
it
had,
come complete with a crowbar?
Yeah,
he was already Red Hood.
that's
by
good.
then.
I mean, it's.
But it was funny because it was like Damian Wayne and
Oh, then that's real recent.
yeah,
then,
Red Robin.
Red Robin.
Tim, right? Arguing because they were like, I don't want him. Well, I don't want him. I'm better than this. You know, like they were trying to like get each other to swap their toys because they didn't want
Nice.
Todd.
Oh, poor Jason Todd.
I kind of like him
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it's.
in his own
It is
messed up way.
That's true. Well,
He's kind of funny.
George Clooney has been on record of basically saying that Batman and Robin does have a big influence on his career. He's quoted as saying, "It's really easy to pick on Batman and Robin. That's not a joke. Up until the moment, I was an actor only concerned with finding work. After the failure of that film creatively, I understood I needed to take control of films that I made, not just the role. My next 3 films were Out of Sight, 3 Kings, and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" So,
He learned.
you're welcome, world. You are welcome.
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou is a pretty good one.
This is good. I like
Yeah.
the soundtrack to Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
My hair.
Out of Sight also is an underrated movie. It's actually
Is that
really
a side
good.
of J-Lo movie?
It is.
Okay.
That's one of the first. Yeah, that was. I don't know if that was her first one or not, but it is an underrated film.
No, I want to say maybe her first one might have been Enough.
Well, that was Selena.
Selena would have been
Selena.
her first.
Yeah.
Selena.
I thought Enough was after Out of Sight.
Well, Selena was definitely the first
Yeah.
one.
All right, so let's roll over to some Star Wars news because some things happened or something happened. New
Not
poster.
just something.
New poster happened.
C-3PO speaks over 6 million forms of communication.
C-3PO
Including
has
bowcaster.
a weapon.
His first language is pain.
I'm like, what happened to him?
Well, if you note it, you can't really see it from how far away we are, but if you look at the poster, you'll notice that Chewbacca also has the bandolier and the crossbow in his hand. His is just
I can't
down.
see the cross. Okay.
His is under Rey's lightsaber.
I noticed the.
All I'm
Yeah.
saying is she's about to cut off her arm.
Ah,
I mean,
Maybe she's holding it further back.
that's a samurai.
I'm
thing.
just saying.
And
she's,
also, he's changed up his grip. If you notice that.
yeah, and his helmet's more beat up now too.
Well, because he smashed it in the last movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got
You had to
anger
force it back
issues.
together.
He had a
Nice.
temper tantrum.
Yeah, but I'm curious who the new droid is on the right by BB-8, the new character there,
That's
and the one
BB-16.
behind BB-16,
He
the
looks,
one next to Chewbacca, and the one behind. Oh my gosh, I just went blank.
Finn.
Yeah.
the one by BB-8. It looks like the Pixar lamp.
Mm-hmm. It does. And the girl next to Chewbacca, if I'm not mistaken, looks very similar to the girl from the Chewbacca comics. Their run of comic books that they did.
So this now Disney has been tried to unsuccessfully kind of quash the thing off the internet for a while because a lot of the articles that reference it no longer have the image. Is this confirmed? Good. Is this a confirmed leak poster, or is this a fan poster that Disney's just kind of?
No, I
Because that's why
thought I pulled it from Nerdist.
I
Well,
thought
yeah.
the crossbow looked like photoshopped.
I mean, I guess it
But-
could be fake. I
Yeah,
don't
basically
know.
this showed up on somebody's blog on one of the Star Wars
Yeah.
sites, like Making of Star Wars or something like that, and then just went crazy on the internet. And Disney tried to
squash it.
tried to squash it, but
Well, maybe then.
But it might be. I mean, here's the thing. It is very much a Star Wars style poster,
It
though.
is.
I mean,
Well,
that's-
and I mean, to be honest with you, at some point it would be nice to get the story of the Knights of Ren.
yeah.
You know,
Well,
I don't know.
They're emo. And they like Lord of the Rings because they look like the Nazgul.
I feel like the new Weezer album, the Black Album,
Yeah.
is them trying to be the Knights of Ren on the cover of it. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen the cover of it.
Yeah, I don't
I don't know. I guess it could be fake. I don't know.
if it's fake, it's really good.
I don't think it's fake.
I think it's interesting
I
that
don't think they would try so hard to take it down if it was fake.
Or it might just be like it might be a Disney image, but it may not be one that they have.
like for a poster.
Yeah, I mean, this may not be done, is what it might be. Like,
The interesting thing is that kind of leads me to believe it might not be a fake. Is Kylo Ren's grip? Hers, she's held her lightsaber in a poster like that before, like
Yeah.
in an image. He's not.
yeah.
So that's kind of where I wonder if
Yeah, and the new characters, like, where would they have gotten that?
There's been a lot of licensing imagery.
yeah.
Okay.
Alana says, saw Mark Hamill tweet downplaying it as fan art, but not sure you trust his tweets because he's like the ultimate internet
Oh,
troll.
he's a troll for sure. Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, it very well could be fan art. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm just
I think,
they took a lot of time to really make it look good.
yeah. And I think I wonder if it's because there's been a lot of licensing imagery that's come out and stuff like that that's been leaked out, and you could take some of this and things like that. This may just be an early version of the official poster. Like if
That's what
somebody's
I was
previs got out,
The only thing
somehow,
that's
Russians.
yeah. Well, the only thing that makes me think that it is fake, truthfully, would be C-3PO.
That's what I was.
Yeah, holding the bowcaster.
Well, and the bandolier,
Yeah,
because
But
I mean,
want that to be true now.
I
Well,
really,
I
I,
do too.
I really want that to be true.
And I want to know the story behind it.
yeah.
Didn't he have a Didn't he have a red arm in the last one?
Oh yeah.
He did.
Okay, so he got a
Yeah.
new arm.
Yeah.
And something
I
went
almost didn't recognize him with his new arm.
And something went horribly wrong.
Yeah, I remember that. But then he didn't have the
Yeah.
red arm
At the
later on,
end, did they
he?
fix it? I
Or
don't
something?
remember.
I thought they did.
I know there was some issue
Yeah.
about the red arm.
I don't
So-
know, but yeah, I mean, if that is a fake poster, that is a well-made fake poster.
That person
Um,
needs to be working for
yes.
I feel
I
like if
agree.
it
Oh
was
yeah,
fake, they would want their credit for it.
yeah. So, so basically, it
I
said
don't know.
this happened Wednesday of this week. It shows the debut of Kerry Russell's Zori, Seven Knights of Ren, also Naomi Aki's role as Lando Calrissian's daughter.
There you go.
Potentially.
Yeah, so this is from Inverse.com. Said on Wednesday morning, the supposed poster from Episode 9 was, quote, discovered and published by Geek News blog The Geekiverse. Reshared on Reddit, where it went viral, making Star Wars publish an article about it. I said nobody really knows if really quite knows if it is, but we will find out.
The only good thing I think is if this was fake, if it turns out that alien next to Finn
Mm-hmm.
was not really in it. I
Oh.
don't like him.
You don't like him? He looks like he has fish ears.
He looks like he's gonna be their Jar Jar.
Uh-oh.
He's already been in promotional material before now, though.
Well then, okay.
He's
I guess
He's
we'll just have to
legit.
deal with it.
Well, and it may be that if this does turn out to be fake, he's not a vital role, so I just put it there to troll.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't judge someone.
Yeah.
there's
Even if they're fake.
Amber.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Come on, Ashley.
So the
You weren't here for that.
I was not.
Someone at work called me Amber, and then didn't understand why I didn't answer. I was like, "Well, my name's not Amber." 'Cause they thought I was
It's
ignoring
Hannah,
them.
damn it.
Yep.
Yeah, and yeah.
Get it right.
All right, in Marvel news, we've got Angelina Jolie in talks to star in the Eternals. In Marvel, now I'm not very familiar with the Eternals.
The Eternals are like Ego. He
Okay.
was an Eternal.
Got it. Okay.
A big giant skull that you see.
Yes.
That's a planet now or whatever.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
That was originally an Eternal.
Okay.
Or maybe they made the Eternals. But what's his name that I'm blanking now?
Dick Van Patten.
No, he was in Guardians. He was the one that they were Benicio del Toro's.
Yes.
He's an
Oh.
Eternal.
Okay.
What about
Collector?
the Grandmaster?
The
The
Collector.
Collector,
The
that's his
Grandmaster
name.
is supposed to be, but I don't know because Grandmaster was Ragnarok, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think in the comics he was an Eternal, but I don't know.
I want Jeff Goldblum to be an Eternal more than anything.
I think
I
he
would
is
like
just
it.
off of Goldblum.
Yeah.
I mean, I would.
He
like
is
it.
in real life. A Hollywood Reporter is reporting that one aspect of the story involves a love story between Icarus, a man fueled by cosmic energy, and Circe, who relishes moving amongst humans. They said the film was focused around Circe. So Angelina Jolie is in talks to star. Marvel has no comment. But of course, she's also doing Maleficent 2, Mistress of Evil, in 2019. And Angelina Jolie was originally in talks to direct Captain Marvel back in 2015. So she has a long history with Disney. So, and now that people don't think that comic book movies are like a horrible thing, we'll see more and more people in there. Speaking of comic book movies, I must have closed this article. The going back to DC for a second, the Joker movie has been confirmed by an unusual source to be an origin story. Comedian actor Mark Maron has joined the cast of the film and recently revealed some things we didn't know as confirmed. They said, and see, this is what Bill Maher should have said. He's like, it's a very interesting approach to this world. I've been somewhat judgmental when it comes to comic book movies, and I've gotten a little pushback in the press for being a hypocrite because he's in the new Joker movie. He says, whenever I think you get a call and someone says, hey, do you want to do a scene with Robert De Niro and Joaquin Phoenix? Your principles fall by the wayside.
Yes.
So he goes on to talk about how Todd Phillips is digging deep to the psyche of the Joker using things like Joker and Killing Joke. He says it's not, in terms of comparing it to a Marvel movie, he says it's not that kind of movie. So Todd Phillips has taken it more of an origin story and a character study of a mentally ill person that becomes the Joker. It's more of an intimate and gritty movie with a very specific scope. It's going to be really interesting to see how it comes out. So
all it takes is one bad day.
that's right, one bad day. So Joaquin Phoenix told Collider, he says, I think underneath the excitement of these films and the size of them, there are these incredible characters that are dealing with real-life struggles. And sometimes that is uncovered and exposed, and sometimes it isn't. So I've always felt like there were characters in comics that were really interesting and deserve the opportunity to be kind of studied. So I think that's what Todd sees appealing about this idea.
That's what I've always kind of liked. Batman just takes, Arkham is not the best place.
Yeah.
But I always felt like he kind of recognizes that it's a mental thing.
Yeah.
Like, maybe this time he'll get help and they won't make you crazier. But
yeah. And if they would actually put, locks on the doors of Arkham, that would also be beneficial.
Yeah.
We don't need those.
We don't need locks.
No one escapes from here.
Ever. Kevin Smith has wrapped production on Jay and Silent Bob reboot. So if you follow him on Twitter, Facebook, things like that, he's been posting pictures with people as they've been doing shots, and like everybody has been there, with the exception of Ben Affleck. But Affleck's on record of saying if they can work something out, like he'd totally be down to come in and do that again. So I'm wondering if maybe we'll get a post-credit scene because it's a, quote, superhero movie. So that might be fun. They shot the movie in 21 days.
That doesn't surprise me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see the recreation of the Quick Stop?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That was
awesome,
amazing.
right?
That was fantastic.
Like, they even went so far and got back, and the kids that they were selling weed to in the beginning, like whatever, I can't.
They went and got them.
They went and got them. Like, they're now back as adults. Like, they went and found everybody from some of the original, even the small pieces, and brought them back to do some things.
Wow. I think the issue with Affleck and them was, at least what Kevin Smith said, his loose lips, I guess.
Yeah, loose lip sync ships. That basically he said that basically he has some stories that weren't his to tell, essentially.
Yeah.
And Kevin's been on the record about Jennifer Garner not being the biggest fan.
Yeah, well,
him.
that could be it too.
So, 25 years since the world saw Clerks, he said. When we shot that movie, we shot Clerks in 21 days. She says this movie cost vastly more than movie cost, and the schedule for this movie was 21 days.
I'm really excited about it, honestly.
Me too.
It's about time.
Yeah, it's going to be... everybody that they've...
He
been able
posted
to
a
bring
picture of
back.
Rosario Dawson too, so apparently they got her as
Yeah,
well.
Rosario came back. Shannon Elizabeth came back, and she's in like Africa saving elephants or something, and
And has apparently found the Fountain of Youth because
she looks exactly the same.
she looks exactly the same.
Hey,
Yeah.
Eerie.
all life started in Africa, guys. I mean, might be something to it.
I bless the rains down in Africa.
Thanks, Toto. So, yeah, so sometime this fall for Jay and Silent Bob reboot, October 4th for the Joker. So that should be very funny. I am looking forward to that. That's gonna be pretty cool. There's a couple of things that are happening in the Game of Thrones world. I found an interesting article about Emilia Clark, actually. I didn't realize during the first few seasons of Game of Thrones, she was dealing with brain aneurysms, like stuff that can basically kill you on the spot.
Right.
She wrote an essay in the New Yorker talking about she was rushed into emergency surgery after fainting at the gym during a workout, having a subarachnoid hemorrhage, something that kills about 33% of people. And then so she had to go through that. She had to recover, things like that, basically in between seasons. It luckily happened in between seasons. And then she said, and I mean, this is how dark and whatever it is. She's like, I've never experienced fear like that, a sense of doom closing in. I could see my life ahead and it wasn't worth living. I'm an actor. I need to remember my lines. Now I couldn't recall my name.
Wow.
She says, in my worst moment, she just wanted the medical staff to let her go. My job, my entire dream of what my life would be centered on language and communication. Without that, I was lost. So the bosses of Game of Thrones knew about her. She said she left the hospital 1 month after surgery, returned for Game of Thrones Season 2 a few weeks later. But she also knew that she had another small aneurysm on the other side of her brain. She went back to work anyways.
Wow.
She told the bosses at Game of Thrones about it. She basically said the show must go on. She said she did miss a beat, but she struggled. She said Season 2 would absolutely be my worst. I didn't know what Daenerys was doing. If I'm truly being honest, every minute of every day I thought I was going to die. After Season 3 of Game of Thrones wrapped, she had another life-threatening emergency surgery with another painful recovery. Spent a month in the hospital, things like that. She says since her last surgery, though, she is fully healed and back to 100%. But that takes some guts and some grit and a little bit of insanity to go back to work like that fast after something like that. But, I mean, if acting is all you've ever wanted to do.
Right. And I wonder if it gave her something to focus on besides.
Oh, yeah, you'd be in your head.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
Well, she's Khaleesi.
That's true.
Nothing's going to stop her.
And that's very true.
Breaker of chains.
That's true. Mother of dragons, breaker of chains, something of Jon Snow. I don't know. The
Friend.
Complication.
Yeah, it's complicated. That's their Facebook status. They
Relative.
Third cousin once removed.
I don't know.
How far you have to go with the cousins before it's okay.
But they were a few.
Is it ever?
I mean, legally speaking.
Oh, legally speaking, yeah. You got to make sure,
like
you obey the laws of Westeros.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think when you're like third cousins, they don't consider it incest. You can get married.
There's our title.
No.
Fourth.
No.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. In Westeros, obviously, it doesn't matter. Considering the opening scene almost of Season 1. But so Game of Thrones is like 3 weeks from being back. It's very close. And then
it's very close.
Only 9 weeks from being gone forever because there's only 6 episodes for this last season. So we're seeing a lot of... You've scared Lynn. So you've...
I thought I read that somewhere, but maybe not.
So there's been a lot of...
Why are you researching it is what I want to know.
No, I think it was in an article or something, and it just happened to come across.
So a lot of cool promotional material. I don't drink Mountain Dew anymore, but I kind of want one of those cans.
I kind of do too.
So that is Arya's list of people that she wants to murder. When the can is warm, it's white. When the can is cold,
they're doing that
the
again.
names show up. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
I still have a can of Amp that they ran whenever The Dark Knight came out.
Okay.
And you put it in the fridge, and It's a bat symbol with a lot of destruction around it, and the bat symbol turns green once it gets cold.
Nice. It's basically they call
See
this
if that
quote.
still works.
They call this quote the can with no name.
Hmm.
So yeah, it will be
because she has no name.
she has no name.
She became no one.
Man, she's getting some work done on that list.
She's got some work to do.
She's
Taking
had
care
like
of business.
25 years.
Yeah,
Taking care of business.
yeah. The people. There will be there. Apparently, there's going to be a can with no name. There's also a few other things that they're doing as well. There is also, fans can also score one of the limited edition cans in New York City or Los Angeles in the coming days by finding the, quote, masters of coin and uttering an ancient password and receiving a coin. One of the coins will lead them to a designated ground where coin will dispense a can from the iron vending machine. They've also have hidden iron thrones, like an iron throne around the world, basically. And they had one hint as to where this particular iron throne was, in this like 14-year-old girl recognized it because it was down the street from her house, and she was the first one to find it in like 10 minutes. So she was crowned like queen of something, queen of the Iron Throne or something like that.
I wonder if the password was Valamogulis.
Yeah, honestly, it probably is. That's probably your password. Final season of Game of Thrones starts on April 14th. So
You've
you've
one
got
episode left of season 5 to rewatch, and then we're going to be 6 and 7.
You've got 2 weeks to get it done.
Nah. If we don't get it done, I'm not going to die.
Yeah.
I've already seen all of them.
Yeah.
It's just nice to watch it in HD and be able to hear everything and actually know what's going on.
I thought about trying to make another run through, but not in 2 weeks.
That's a lot.
That's a lot in 2 weeks.
There was a guy at the barbershop that said they watched it in 7 days. All 7 seasons.
A season a
7
day,
days.
you could do that because it's probably 10 or 12 hours a season.
Well, that's a
I'm
bit
just
brutal.
saying that's day 2. I'm done. If I've spent 10 hours watching something, I'm not motivated to sit and watch it again.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's hard.
Yeah. What'll happen is a couple years from now, when everything's out,
Just run
I'll
through
go
it again.
through all of it,
Yeah.
the whole story.
Well, now they're talking about a backstory, like a prequel.
Yeah, they're doing
So-
they've done some casting and stuff like that, I think, on the prequels.
Which I guess got moved to next week, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
next
we
week.
moved some stuff off.
But that's kind of exciting too, because it'll continue that.
Yeah. We'll get some of the story.
Maybe we'll get to see the crazy Targaryen guy.
You mean
King.
The Mad King.
Yeah,
Mad
Mad
King?
King.
Yeah.
What if the ending of it is him getting jammed through by the Kingslayer?
Could be. Could be. We're in the middle of convention season right now. A lot of the big cons is about this time starting up. C2E2 was a couple of weeks ago, and an Indiana man was arrested for stealing rare comic books from vendors over at C2E2.
We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Because in Denver, there's Mile High usually has this gigantic wall. And last year, it was wide open. I mean, there was shelving in front of the wall, but it was just,
Yeah.
it was there. And they weren't cheap comic books. I mean, the more expensive ones were higher, but
Yeah.
in general, it was just, it was rough.
Yep.
I don't know. I kept thinking people could run off with it.
This guy was charged with 3 felony accounts. You all right over there, bud?
I'm good.
Yeah. This guy was charged, Stephen Bowles of Remington, Indiana, was charged with stealing $9,000 of comic books and 3 vendors on Saturday from C2E2. Basically, one of the prosecutors are saying one of the vendors caught Bowles on camera acting suspiciously. He reviewed the footage and saw him swiping comics from multiple booths. At 5:15, they got the footage to the cops, and they took him into custody.
Man.
So Bowles was found with some of the comic books that had been reported stolen, but not all of them. One of the vendors reported $4,500 worth of comics had been stolen. So you're talking about CGC graded something.
Yeah.
Easily. Yeah.
Another tallied about $3,500 in losses, another one about $1,200 as well.
Makes you kind of wonder how he was doing that. How did he get to those?
In a place like C2E2,
where it's so much.
so many people, just slip it
I
in.
just think of things like Dallas and Denver where we've been.
Yeah.
And I mean, unless you're in there before the vendors are there, I don't see how that's really.
If a vendor's just, it's one of
talking
those
to
talking
someone
to somebody
else, have,
and
a
stuff like
messenger
that.
Bag or something. You could just.
And here's the thing,
slip
and it could be one book. It could be Hulk 181 and a decent grade, and there's $3,000-$4,000.
True.
But the fact that he didn't have all this stuff with him, like either, and they haven't, I don't know if they've recovered the rest of it yet, but you have to wonder if he went to other vendors and sold it.
Could be.
Basically turn the product around.
Could.
Now, all CGC stuff is serial numbered, like when you're graded and stuff like that. So if they kept track of that, they could conceivably find it if it ever shows up somewhere. So
That would stink, too.
That would.
yeah. Yeah, because at that point,
You're out all your money.
you're out all your money.
Unless you're the person that now has it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you go to sell it, though,
That's true.
and if
Yeah.
it pops up as a stolen product, then you
Yeah.
got to deal with that aspect. But then you lose all your money because it goes back to the owner.
Yeah, even though you were unknowingly buying a stolen product.
Yeah, I mean, you
so-
may not face any criminal charges, but it's at least going back to the owner.
Yeah, it is. We're gonna go. I want to save the Keanu Reeves story for the end because it's
pretty
just-
cool.
It's an amazing story. So let's start with a couple of down gaming stories. So we talked very early on. I mean,
It's almost a year ago now.
probably a year, something like that. So 50 some odd episodes ago about the guy who swatted the person in Kansas and the cop shot him basically and it killed him.
Yeah.
The California man who made that hoax call, who started that whole shooting, who was responsible for that whole shooting, has been sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. So,
I have to say, though, I don't know that 20 years is enough.
yeah. Prosecutors and defense attorneys reached a plea deal, but each side recommended a different punishment. Prosecutors wanted 25. The judge went the defense request of 20 years.
I don't know that 25 is enough.
Yeah, by far the longest. Like, this is, you now have legal precedents for swatting in terms of, you're at least getting 20 years.
My
Now-
issue is this was not his first time doing this.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
might have been the first time that somebody died, but it's not the first time that particular guy did it. He didn't take it seriously. He can continue to make threats and tweets and all that.
Yeah.
20 years is a joke in that regard, in my mind.
So what happened? I don't think I was.
Oh, you may not have been here. So this guy was playing Call of Duty or whatever with a guy and made some like low dollar, like $2 bet or something like that, and the guy wasn't going to pay or something along those lines.
Something like that, yeah.
And basically he figured out where he was, like via his IP
Traces
or whatever,
IP.
traces IP, stuff like that, and called the called the Kansas Police Department. Basically said he was holding his mom and brother at gunpoint. He wants to kill himself and light the house on fire. So when the cops showed up, the guy doesn't know anything was happening, and apparently he reached for his waistband and they shot him.
Oh, wow.
Because they're
'Cause
charging
they're
into his
thinking, yeah.
house.
Yeah.
So
And
as the
they're
homeowner,
thinking-
he doesn't know,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe they didn't announce it given what they were. They probably didn't go, "This is SWAT, get down."
Right, and
Yeah.
they're
You know.
thinking he has, intent to kill.
Yeah.
Well, he's in Kansas, so I
Yeah.
mean, they have the same gun laws we do here.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a
Well, I mean, like they're
Oh,
thinking
wait,
yeah.
he has
Yeah.
these people and he's going to kill them.
there's a piece of
Hostage
this.
situation.
I misspoke on something. So, there's two co-defendants also in there. The co-defendant and this guy were arguing. The guy who made the phone call was given an address where the second co-defendant used to live. He didn't live there anymore, and this guy lived there.
Mhm.
The Finch guy who got shot lived there. He had nothing to do with the gang,
Oh,
whatever. This
wow.
was basically, he got a bad address. Essentially, that's how that went. It's been a while, so I
Yeah.
had to go back through.
But
all
again,
that,
I mean, my issue is your intent was to cause someone harm,
yeah, pretty
period.
much.
and you've done it before. You continue to not take it seriously. I'm sorry. 20 years is not enough.
Yeah, this guy's also, and this plea deal was included in this, has made bomb threats to the FCC headquarters in Washington.
Then why 20 years?
20 years.
I mean, if he doesn't get killed in prison, then okay, 20 years he's going to get out and be the same way.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know how old he is. He looks
He
fairly.
looks fairly young. 28 is his name. No,
That's the guy he looks fairly young. So I mean, he'll probably get out, call it when he's 50 now. Because I don't know in terms of if he's going to be
Good behavior.
eligible for parole or
My
anything
issue
like that.
is that should be a life situation.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not necessarily saying he needs to be put to death, but I'm just saying
the piece we don't know, at least I don't have the details, is when the cops went to this guy's house, not that he's at fault or anything, but if the cops didn't announce themselves, like, are there other pieces that happened that maybe could have prevented this, even if the call was still made? Like, we don't know that.
Well, they could have announced it. The guy could have been a felon, and then
absolutely,
and pulled a gun on the police, and they shot him that
way.
But they wouldn't have been there.
Absolutely.
That's my issue.
Here's the thing: like, even if you SWAT somebody, regardless if they get, regardless of what happens, if you SWAT somebody, something like that, like, there should be a significant penalty, like 20 years in jail just for swatting.
Yeah.
Like, because not only are you taking resources away from local police and things like that who probably need them to deal with real things.
You're traumatizing a family.
I'm sure there's going to be property damage, all those things.
I'm just going to point out, what if he was reaching for a gun? And what if not only he was killed, but he took down a cop?
Yeah.
Do you think it's big now?
Oh, yeah.
That would have been...
There's been nothing, like, there hasn't been a lot about him, the person who was shot, at least not that I've found, in terms of whether he even had a gun on him.
Yeah, it just said
waistband. I think I remember someone reaching for his waistband, but that could be any number of things. But
I couldn't blame him if they don't announce, which I understand the position they're in too.
Yeah.
But if someone comes through my door,
because you want to protect, and you have
to be able to defend yourself, and you don't know who it is coming through the door. You're not just going to instantly drop.
I mean, unless they're announcing police, that kind of thing, which they may have, but I don't know.
There was several years ago. I was at my first house. Police were looking for somebody that went running through my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Police were in my backyard. I had no idea. Policeman actually opens my back door and walks into my house, and I'm sitting on the couch watching television. Doesn't announce, doesn't say anything. Opens the door, looks at me, and says, "Broken Arrow Police." I'm like, are you kidding me? You just walked into my house. No knock, no nothing. And so he just shut the door and walked off. Like, it's one of those things. I was in the moment, you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like, what do you, like, in that moment, like you said, what do you do? The guy instinctively reached her, who I don't know, but it's just one of those things. Like you said, there's a lot of pieces to this story where things can go horribly wrong, and they did.
I guess my issue is we're looking for reasons that this person died, when the bigger issue is that none of this would have happened if the guy hadn't done what he did.
I agree
100%.
No, I'm saying,
we're
like,
not arguing that.
It could have been so much worse, even.
It could have
and
been.
What if you had multiple deaths because of this?
Yeah.
All because
what if
this
a stray
dude
bullet
put him
hit
there?
somebody in the house?
Yeah.
I mean, any number of things could have gone wrong, and that's where I'm like, at this point, 20 years to me doesn't seem like enough.
Yeah.
You gotta set that precedent and start.
And I think you gotta set it higher than 20 years myself, because now
I don't know what manslaughter is. What's manslaughter? You don't get life for manslaughter.
No, you don't. But manslaughter is not intentional, though.
Well, this guy didn't intend this guy to get.
Accidental?
That's true.
I mean,
that's true. I guess where I'm struggling with that, and this is the last thing I'll say about it, because there's no point in debating it. It is what it is. But I guess where I'm struggling is the fact that he didn't appear to take it seriously, nor did he stop his threats. Nor did he even seem to care that anything had happened to somebody that he didn't know.
Yeah,
and that callousness, I mean, that's just disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. Like, obviously not a, I would assume not a productive member of society. And like you said, no remorse, no nothing. Like, that makes you, what, a sociopath? Is that the correct term, basically? But he's going away for 20 years.
But also, he's never met the family. I mean, this is somebody he's never met. So having that emotional, I mean, granted, I think any of us, if we were goofing around and someone died, we would feel that remorse of like, oh my gosh, we ended a life goofing around.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just the picture of the guy that I saw. The article I was going to post had a picture of the actual, what is it? Plaintiff? No.
Defendant.
Okay. And he looked upset in his sentencing photo.
Yeah.
So maybe it's starting to get into his
Yeah.
brain that for the next 20 years, your life is not yours.
It
I don't know.
may be
Did
this.
he really think nothing would happen though?
I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
You're
Here's the thing: he's swatted people before,
and nothing's
and
happened.
nothing has happened. So he assumed, and this one just
probably no one died. I'm betting.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
But
this
yeah.
and this went sideways, and he's responsible for it. No doubt about it. He is responsible for it.
Was this through a jury trial?
I think this was a deal.
Yeah,
I think this was a plea deal.
I don't think it went to jury.
Okay, good.
Because I think if it had, he would have ended up with the death penalty. I don't think it would have. Been.
You wouldn't. They couldn't get him on the death penalty
Yeah,
for that.
it's not premeditated
It's not
murder.
premeditated.
Jury doesn't decide if someone gets death or not. If death is an available option, they can choose it, but they just can't.
Just give it.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's only certain punishments that fit the charges, and
but here's the question:
they
The
could have
next-
given him the maximum that they could have, though.
Sure.
And
Here's-
I'm sure they would have. Sorry.
Yeah, here's the question now for the next person who decides to swat somebody, or maybe this has a positive impact in that people are like, oh, I'm not going to jail. If somebody swats somebody and obviously nobody dies, is it the same? Because this 20 years encompasses a few things. Like, is the penalty just as harsh just for that?
I think
20
it
years?
should be.
Yeah.
If you're saying that, I just don't think you can qualify it because the risk is still there.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
If a SWAT team is coming in, yes, they're
You're
supposed
putting
to,
people in harm's way.
they're supposed
You
to
are.
be
There's the
tactical
potential
in
for
how they're
death.
responding. Obviously, like they're not just they don't just rush in and shoot. I mean, they're being tactical about it. But if you have resources going with the mentality that something very bad is happening, the likelihood that something goes wrong is really high.
Yeah.
It's really high.
Yeah.
I think, if you prank 911, like, you get in trouble for that.
True.
And so it should be, like, 100 times worse if you call in something fake for SWAT.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that 20 years will ever happen if someone doesn't die.
Yeah.
Uh,
But at the same rate, I don't know how you.
But even then,
I don't know how you
5 years,
qualify
10
human
years.
life for 20 years.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I don't. I just don't understand
Yeah.
how you do that.
I don't know.
You're not
But I'm
trying
not
to
a
get
judge.
someone killed per
Yeah.
se, but you're also
That
not.
was never his
just-
intention.
you're-
It would have
You're
been,
not pulling a simple prank on someone. You are
Yeah.
sending a potential threat of death to
Yeah.
someone's
I
house.
think it would have been.
So yeah, it's got to be ratcheted up, even if no one dies or anything.
Yeah, I don't think he
Just
meant
for
for
the
the guy to
possibility.
die.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that. But
Just because you were a numbskull and you didn't think about what could happen,
Yep.
it
not an
never would have
excuse.
crossed my mind to do something like
you
that.
might not
I
get
did
charged
know
with murder,
swatting
but it
was a
does
thing.
need to be.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, like I
Quite
said, this
heavy.
this is an example for people that obviously you shouldn't do those things. It's been a while since I've heard any other stories about swatting or whatever, but
Maybe a reason.
there may be. But like you said, especially if you're crossing state lines, which obviously that phone call or whatever sent people like state lines, things like that. I think this makes this a federal thing, which is why he's in federal prison,
does,
not state
yeah.
prison.
well, and I've seen videos of like streamers getting swatted. Like somebody swats them.
That
on their
used to be a
stream.
thing, a while
And-
ago.
I did not know this was a thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that like they're on a computer playing when the SWAT team comes in behind them, I mean that I think is
With
why,
headsets like this that you
Right.
probably can't hear them come. Like,
But the
Yeah,
fact
that's
that you
true.
can see their hands and you can see what they're doing,
yeah.
I think is why no one has gone to this level yet.
Yeah. This was the combination of a lot of bad bad things in terms of timing and placement and all kinds of things. I mean, it's a sad story for sure. It's the more we talk, the more I agree with you. 20 years probably isn't enough, but there's no precedent for it yet, and so you have to start somewhere. And
Yeah,
hopefully,
but
this is the only case that they have to deal with
sometimes
this.
those precedents work against you later, though.
Yes, that's very true.
Like, oh well, in this
Yeah.
case, this guy died. You only give him 20 years. Why do you want to give him 50?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
so.
In other news, EA has decided to lay off 3.8% of their workforce, 350 people of the 9,000 employees at EA.
Were they not able to find loot boxes?
Exactly. This is the
Seems
loot
like
box
it's
that gets to
mostly
keep your job. Yeah.
International.
Yeah, marketing, publishing, and other departments, they are ramping down their presence in Japan and Russia. They said that the Japan office has been closed entirely. They said basically the CEO of EA, Andrew Wilson, has said, "We have a vision to be the world's greatest games company. If we're honest with ourselves, we're not there right now. We have work to do with our games, our player relationships, and our business. Across the company, teams are already taking action to ensure creating higher quality games and live services, reaching more platforms with our content subscriptions, improving our Frostbite tools, focusing our network and cloud gaming priorities, and closing the gap between us and the player communities." And in doing so, they're just trying to kind of streamline a few things. And so even you look at like EA or Activision Blizzard, they laid off 800 people, even though that they had record-breaking profits that year. Basically,
That's what I was wondering, is if this is going to be a thing, if there's a shift going on, and while everyone tries to figure out how to deal with that, they're having to lay people off.
But the thing, and I think maybe it's just an analyst at BTIG basically says the layoffs at EA and Activision are a result of some specific company missteps. In this new games as a service world, publishers need to tightly focus on creating content for their key franchises and execute. Both companies needed to refocus their efforts. But EA does have something really kind of positive in the works at the moment, because Apex Legends, which is becoming the new Fortnite very quickly, is an EA product, and so that could be a positive thing.
Is it
for
always?
EA.
Has it always been free?
Yes,
I know it's free like right now.
Yeah, Apex Legends has always been free. It was kind of a surprise. They just released it. Nobody really knew it was coming.
It didn't really,
And they just
it
said,
started
"Here."
making headlines before I even knew what it was.
Did
honestly.
you see that? Well, the reason I even knew what it was that streamer.
Which one?
PewDiePie, whatever his name is.
PewDiePie. Yeah. He has the most subscribers on YouTube.
His subscribers are doing like some crazy things.
They're trying to get him to like 100 million or something nuts.
Yeah, but they're doing like bad things.
Yes.
Like vandalizing.
Well, he's also, he's been
things.
banned from multiple platforms for saying things and stuff like that. And he is always, he's always kind of apologized and whatever about it, and then something else happens, and
I feel like
else
one
happens.
I saw something like maybe 2 weeks ago that one of the people that were trying to get him to this crazy following, like vandalized a World War II monument or something.
Oh,
like
so
that.
that's okay. So that's not entirely true. That's somewhat accurate. There is a canon at a university somewhere that every couple of weeks the students repaint it in some way. Like it's a tradition. I know the one you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't read the article.
And
I
they
just saw the
basically
headline.
painted it bright red and wrote PewDiePie like up the cannon essentially.
Gotcha.
But that's a tradition of that particular university.
Okay.
Apparently.
Well, that at least gives me a little bit of.
Yeah.
Okay. I can live with that. Because,
This-
like I said, I didn't read the article.
Yep.
I just read the title and I thought, well, I don't. Okay.
Speaking of games,
I don't need to get on my high horse over that.
Speaking of games as a service, there's a very long list of. So Apple Arcade has been confirmed as a game subscription service, which will launch later this year.
Better name.
Nope.
They had to have a. No.
It's interesting that they're being nostalgic with the word arcade.
There'll be 100 new and exclusive mobile games that will be available to subscribers without ads. Now, I don't see any pricing or anything for it yet, and I'm not really going to go through all the lists because there's a bunch, but there are Lego games, there are Sonic games, there's a lot of different games that are going to be on the Apple Arcade service. So,
Yeah, some Mario games on there.
Is there Mario?
Well, I see an image
I
of
was
Mario.
like, shit, I don't think
Maybe
Nintendo
not.
would give them.
Yeah.
Maybe not. It might have been an ad that I saw.
Sonic Racing, Lego Brawls, and a bunch of independent stuff. So when they talked about their tvOS and stuff like that this past time, they...
So is this going to be through the Apple TV, or is it going to be on the phone, or what?
all of the above. macOS, iOS, tvOS. All of it you'll be able to
Interesting.
play.
So I just need to get rid of that computer case I bought then and just buy a newer iMac.
Sure. No.
No.
Cardpocalypse is one of the games. So yeah, a lot of stuff happening there. All right, we want to wrap up this episode with one of the greatest stories I think I've ever heard. Keanu Reeves is lauded on Reddit as being one of the coolest people on the planet. Like, there's been pictures of him taking pictures with people. He's always been like super down to earth, super chill, and things like that.
He's a humble celebrity.
He is the definition of a humble celebrity. So apparently, and there's a few images to go with this story, but he was on a flight, or was going to be on a flight, and there was an issue. with said plane, and so they were going to put people on a bus, basically. And he could have done what any celebrity would do, go get a private plane, go whatever. Nope, he decides to travel he's traveling from San Francisco to Burbank, and his flight was forced to make an unexpected landing in Bakersfield. So they were going to bring people to basically they're going to transport the rest of the people by bus. And he just decided just to handle the whole thing. So there's a couple of articles about this. Here's this first one. I don't have the source for this one. It'll be up there. So he's talking to people, and there's video of this, and him basically saying, all right, here's the deal. We can get on the bus.
Ignore
They're going to
the footwear.
Yeah, they're going to get on the – we'll get on the bus. They'll take care of our bags. Don't worry about that stuff. We can get going, all this stuff. And he's basically become like this champion travel agent for everybody on the team, making people's adjusting their travel plans, doing all kinds of things, talking about stuff. And so –
love the trucker hat.
Yeah, so the hat he wears, that's his brand of motorcycle,
Gotcha.
His motorcycle company.
Doesn't he race as well?
I think so.
Like amateur or whatever?
Yeah, I think so. And so it's about 100 miles from where they needed to go, so they're going to put it on a bus. And so, because it was a 3-hour wait before they could get get another plane. So he's basically encouraged everyone to get on the bus with him so they could speed up the process.
Speed.
Here's the thing. You're getting on a bus with Keanu Reeves. I'm just like, there's so I wouldn't be able to contain myself.
There are so many
speed references,
yes.
the whole time. I would have been like,
Can't
are you
get
going?
below
You can't
65.
I can't go below 65 or 55, whatever it is. He said, so he's like, instead of having people hang around and wait and stuff like that, they ended up doing a 100-mile road trip with Keanu Reeves. Apparently, here's an image of him going to give you some facts about Bakersfield. So he was pulling up Bakersfield facts, and he was basically being a tour guide.
And he played him music as well.
Yeah, he played music. Like, there's some videos of all this stuff. And, he just took control of the situation, super chill, took care of everything. And then at the end of the day, he's just like all of us. And sometimes he just wants a Carl's Jr.
And sometimes you just gotta
Yep.
have a burger.
Gotta have a burger. So, but there is a great video of course, this is posted on one of the Twitters this is on, is at Keanu's GF, so at Keanu's girlfriend. Says Keanu got stranded somewhere in California, had to take a bus instead of a plane, and some guy filmed the entire experience. So, I mean, there's this whole thing. I just want to hang out with him. Like, that's just.
I think everyone does at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, because he seems like the guy that you would want to hang out with.
Yeah.
He could literally, and this could really happen, he could host Keanu Con.
Oh.
It would be packed.
It would be insane.
And people would buy tickets.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
It would sell out.
He could do what Jose Canseco was.
I would go
trying to
hunt-
do.
I would totally go hunting
I mean,
with
without the
Keanu.
crazy, but like, come meet up with me. We'll
Yeah.
take a bus somewhere. He did take a bus, but I mean,
Yeah.
we'll go on a nature hike or something. I'm trying
Keanu's
to
road
think of
trips.
something not crazy.
I would totally
Yeah.
do it. But
But he'd only charge you like $35.
probably.
He'd make you pay for the beer.
Yeah. Well, of course, this is this is also, this is fortuitous timing. John Wick Parabellum Chapter 3 is just a couple of months from being released. The new trailer looks pretty awesome. But I mean, there is a whole subreddit on Reddit for Keanu being a cool guy, and it's just pictures of him taking pictures with people, doing stuff with people, stuff like that. He's always, and I think because he's like this, people kind of respect that about him and don't like swarm him or whatever like they do some other people. They kind of respect his space, and if he engages, great, and if he doesn't, I think people probably respect him enough to kind of leave him be. But that's pretty cool. I mean,
Of course, if he's I feel like most celebrities stand out because of how they are, like their being of who they are. Does that make sense?
yeah, kind of like their energy, sort of.
I
Yeah,
guess to
Their
get kind of
presence, attitude.
just how
Yeah.
they dress, how they walk, their entitlement aspects, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas if he truly feels the way I believe that he feels for everything that we've read and talked about,
yeah,
just that he's just a normal person who's been fortunate, but he likes to live pretty basic and just live a good life. You're not necessarily going to like attract that kind of attention
Yeah.
because it is going to be more of a respect.
yeah,
It's not like if Finn from Star Wars was walking around like he's going, and not that he's arrogant, but
Yeah.
he's going to attract that fanfare.
Yeah.
You know,
And he just wants to, walk through life just like a normal. He's like, my job is, he's like, I get to, pretend to be other people for a living. He doesn't see that as different as any other job.
Well, and you also maybe have to think from like his point of view. He's like, I'm going to be recognized anyway.
Yeah.
So I could be horrible about it, or I could just kind of embrace it and be
and he's
cool.
not walking around with bodyguards.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not walking around with an entourage.
Yeah,
just him.
It's true. It's just him.
You know, I mean, even Momoa walks around with an entourage.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I
For no
understand
reason.
why. He's bigger than all of them, so I
Right.
don't necessarily understand why. But
Yeah.
you know,
Unfortunately, Keanu's the guy, like, he would never do a con. That's not his thing. Like, he would never do that thing. But, it is a...
You think he'd go to a con?
I think he would go and he'd have a mask.
He'd be
or
like, "Oh
something.
man, Ralph Macchio." That's I totally want to meet him.
he might be in Dallas. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's... I don't know. He tends to not... You don't really see him in, like... I don't really see him wandering around San Diego Comic-Con, like, even with
Yeah.
a mask on. But maybe. You never know. But he's...
He could just cosplay as himself.
be like, no, I'm not... I just look a lot like him.
No, but I worked really hard on this costume.
Yeah.
I'm actually 5'6".
Cosplay is one of his characters. He could
do you
like
also
Neo
think-
or something?
Do you also think that his general fan base is kind of our age at this point?
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
grown up.
Oh,
with him.
yeah.
And
Gotta
so, like, for us, it's a big deal to see him, which is why we would like to see all that stuff and
Yeah.
why we also respect that. Whereas, like, the newer people like Jason Momoa, it's the younger crowds that are swarming him.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a maturity thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
You know? Because
So
it's not like
basically-
Momoa's not a great guy. I mean, he was at his booth, an hour before he even had to be there.
Yeah.
'Cause he was only there for one day. It's, 9 o'clock in the morning. He's got, I don't even know,
300
AC/DC or something.
Yeah, he's
cranked up. He's rocking out. He's having fun. He's taking pictures. I mean,
This is before the show even opened.
yeah. People that were already in line, like the VIP people that got in line prior to the show opening up, were there waiting on him, and he shows up early and stays late. I mean, stays until he absolutely had to go.
Yeah.
So I don't doubt that he's the same type of person. I just think his fan base is age-wise
Yeah,
different.
it's true.
So basically, we need to get Keanu into the MCU.
We just need to get Keanu here.
Yeah. Yeah.
He totally seems like the guy. Like if we ran into him, we were like, "Hey, we've got this podcast." He'd be like, "Point the direction."
Yeah. No.
Yeah. It could be very...
I'll tell you what, I'm going to the gun range. Why don't you just come film me?
Yeah. Yeah, it's that video of him doing the
Oh,
three gun
he-
is just
There are several. There's
Yeah.
not just one. There's several.
it's pretty amazing.
And it seems like as he gets closer and closer to John Wick, like every John Wick movie, there have been more and more.
Yeah.
And some of the people that he's running with are professional three-gun competition
Yeah.
shooters. And they are no joke to begin with. So then for him to be able to keep up, man, he's run some time on that
Yeah.
for sure. It's impressive for
It
sure.
is very impressive. So maybe one day we'll get lucky and meet Keanu Reeves. I'll be in LA in July, so
He's got to run into Carl's Jr.'s.
Yep. So, yep.
You're on a bus with Keanu Reeves, hot shot. What do you do?
Drive through.
What
Can I
do
get
you do?
a double or whatever? I guess that's In and Out, but
That's the one place we didn't
That'd be
go.
the
We'll
bus
have to
ride
go
you-
in Dallas because we
Yeah.
didn't get to go this last time.
That'd be the bus ride. You literally do not want it to end.
yeah, an hour.
much.
I'm just
You
like
video
you go,
it, and then
like,
you just have to loop the video, I guess.
yeah. You have to wonder how many speed reference. Nice. How
He
many?
didn't catch it.
I got it the second time. Loop the video. Nice. How many speed references do you think he heard on that bus?
I wonder if
I
he
bet
makes,
none.
He
I
makes
bet
speed
none.
references.
What would be awesome is if he was the one making a lot of them.
Yeah.
We
And
got to
he
loop
was
the
just like-
camera.
He just looked at everyone and was like, "I was on a bus once," and that's it. Just goes back to
Or he was like, with my friend Sandra Bullock.
Yeah. That's
Church, that was nicely played.
that was
Nicely played.
nice. All right, gang. This has been episode 120 of Gather the Nerds. The title will be something Keanu related. I don't know. It'll be something.
It'll
like
be
that.
organic. It'll come up.
At some point, it will. We will normal time next week. Or we
What's next week? What's the date?
Saturday?
Thanks. That's the day.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, what are we
yeah,
doing
I'm,
next
I'm
week?
good. I thought it was the 11th next week.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll be back next
the
week. We've got a few
13th.
things to talk about, just to give you guys a quick preview of stuff we moved out of this week into next week. They're rebooting the Kraft movie. You can get some Peeps flavored Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Don't trust Office Depot.
Gross.
Don't
Just
trust
saying.
Office Depot with your antivirus scans. There's been some new Avengers posters. There's a new Brightburn fan poster by Boss Logic that is really sweet.
Nice.
And then a 14-year-old is making $200,000 playing Fortnite. So that is what we have to look forward to next week.
So far, yeah.
So far, we still got several days to put something else together. But until next time, this has been episode 120 of Gather the Nerds. I'm Cav, that's Nick.
See you guys.
Church,
Be kind, guys.
Hannah,
Not evil.
Amanda,
Ashley.
Also not evil.
Amber,
Not evil.
Ashley,
Not evil.
Alexandria.
She's evil.
Okay.
Say one of them is going to be.
All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.
All right.